Hi guys, welcome back. Today I have some very special guests with me who are not only India's top designers but also have been pivotal in being the voice of sustainable fashion in India. They are my personal favorites, not only as great human beings but also as designers. David Abraham and Rakesh Thakore. Hi.
Hello.
So can you tell us what the essence of Abraham and Thakore is?
Abraham and Taco has been involved with working with the craft sector for a very long time, and we're very interested in working with traditional craftspeople with traditional skills and bringing them into a very contemporary fashion space. I think it's very very important to bring tradition into a new space, to shed a new light on it, and to make it relevant to young consumers, which are the fashion consumers. So that is a very important part of the A&T brief. I think it's also what we're also very concerned about is a sense of sustainability. I think it's very important that we look at fashion not as transient and not as something that's wasteful, but we try to make clothes that outlast seasons, that outlast trends, and so when you buy something from us, we hope it's going to last for a long time. And what we make is very often, like in the dress you're wearing, manufactured by very traditional crafts. This has been done by ikat weavers in Andhra Pradesh. And we are trying to bring a contemporary design language to a very traditional skill.
So David, there is a conscious effort of inclusivity, even in terms of models in your shows. Could you tell us more about that?
I think it's very important. I think fashion has been for very long very exclusive in the sense that it's sort of cut out certain types of people. And we believe that fashion has to reach out to an audience which is like everybody. And so we've made much wider. So we have brought in different different types of models, different notions of beauty actually, because we think beauty has a very wide definition.
So who's the most unconventional model you ever worked with? Apart from me, of course.
You are one of the best.
Thank you.
I will say that for the camera.
The question was actually later.
But anyway, you are. You are asked. You are a star. But the most unconventional we've worked with has been like we've worked with transgender models. We have worked with. I mean, we started it much before the conversation began. Remember, years ago, I can't remember. We had, and we've also had sometimes male models in female clothes. This last 2 weeks ago, we showed in Bombay, we had the sari model by a boy. So, I think that's just what we do, because I think our job is also to challenge all these sort of, preconceived notions. And I think people have to ask questions all the time.
That is also why one of your shows are very interesting for the models too, because we are used to a conventional pool of people that we work with. So whenever some people like that come in, the shows become more interesting and dynamic.
I hope so, because I think it's also about, fashion just as a show is one thing, but I think when you use a fashion show as a communication device, you have a narrative, you have a story, you're using a fashion show to make a comment on, society around you.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's what a part of our job, I think, is to bring attention to issues.
To
bigger issues. It's not just about tucking.
Absolutely. So what, according to you, is sustainability? And how can the consumer of today, who has so many cheap, fast fashion brands to choose from, make a difference?
I think the consumer actually is the only person who can make a difference by buying very wisely. There's too much rubbish out there, and the cheaper and cheaper fast fashion gets, it encourages more and more waste. It encourages people to throw out clothes that have barely been worn, and it's extremely irresponsible. So I think the consumer, and particularly the Indian consumer is not very wasteful. So I think it's a practice that can be encouraged, and I think people buy clothes that are more timeless, that transcend seasons, look after them carefully, keep them, and try to wear them for as long as they can. It's a very simple thing to do.
But there are so many of them who get attracted to the Zaras and the Mangoes and the H&Ms and so many other fast fashion brands, and it is something that they do it like a habit. Like every Saturday, Sunday, they will be thronging the malls and buying more and more stuff. How do we stop that?
Well, I think conversations like this, hopefully people who are listening to this will also maybe think, ask a question. And I think they just need to spend one winter in Delhi where they can't breathe, one summer in Chennai where there's no water to bathe, and the message will get home. The message will get home because, we are living in a place with dwindling resources. I mean, we see it every day. We're living in this terrible, terrible situation.
So the whole reason of starting this YouTube channel was this.
Yeah.
You've written this wonderful article on HT Brunch that I read recently, and in which you mentioned that while the Indian consumer is relatively new to the world of fashion-led consumption and the accompanying waste, we Indians, however, are still shaped by cultural attitudes that shun wastage. Could you elaborate on that, please?
Yeah, I think, it's not that long ago. I mean, we all remember times when you packaged your waste, the kabadi wala came to the house, you gave it was recycled. There's still recycling happening all around this in Delhi. When things got damaged, we got them repaired. Rafuwalas still come and do the
in every
rafu
neighborhood
on a beautiful
rafuwala.
shawls.
Yes.
The thing, saris are passed down from grandmother to daughter to granddaughter. Jewelry gets passed on. So it's very much a part of our culture. Wastage is new. It's been something that's been brought in by this kind of level of consumption.
Yes.
I think we need to talk about these old values and we need to reinforce them, we need to support them, we need to make it cool again. And we need to make it cool to do all these things again.
How wonderful it is that it is inherent in our culture and yet we haven't noticed that. We need to notice that, embrace it and take it forward.
Yeah, I think it's terribly important, that we keep talking about all these things because, like what we're doing right now, these are conversations that need to be had by everybody.
A lot of people.
And we start them at the school level.
Much wider range.
You start them at your daughter's level, for example.
Absolutely,
And she talks about recycling.
Yeah, the school that she goes to, they do have that. I mean,
Yeah.
they come back home and
Yeah.
they say, Mom,
Yeah.
I will only take half a glass of water because that is how much I will finish and the rest
Exactly.
will go to waste.
Absolutely.
So that's wonderful that that's happening.
So I think this consciousness is beginning to spread. I think all is not lost. But, we are at a dangerous point. We
Yes,
are at a
we
very
are.
dangerous point,
Yes, we are.
And we should realize that.
Yeah, there's a lot of really, irresponsible behavior and thinking also out there. And I think we just need to be pointing it out.
True. Sustainability needs to be redefined, keeping the Indian context in mind, which is preservation of the small scale, which are our handloom weavers and craftspersons. What steps should the Indian consumer consciously take into contributing to their well-being?
I think a consumer has a lot of choices. Consumption, the very act of buying is a very powerful act. What we buy actually influences the way the economy works. So I think the consumer can make choices. They can look at buying product that comes from the small scale sector. They can patronize handloom and craft. They can make those choices whenever they can, and they should actually consciously do it, because to purchase something, as I said, is a tool and it's a very powerful tool, and you've got to exercise it well.
So, how do you think, where is the information as to where they can purchase things from? How do they get to know what are available, what are the products available, where do they go to buy it? Because I feel that a lot of designers are in fact using the weavers and employing the weavers, but then that comes at a very high cost.
Yeah.
How does the consumer of today purchase things which are genuinely directly from the weavers and the artisans?
Handmade product is always going to be more expensive than machine-made product. It's just the laws of nature. And we've also got to realize and educate the consumer into understanding that they have to pay a little more if something is made by hand rather than made in a machine, which is large-scale assembly. So that's one. And then also when they buy these handmade products, they should also realize that this is going to last them for a very long time. It's not something you're going to throw away. So you buy less, you buy better quality.
Thank you, David and Rakesh, for this very informative session. I think all of you got a lot from it, and I really hope that you inculcate it into your everyday lives. See you later.